Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Jay Cruz, and this is how I use it, the Line 6 HX Stomp. Okay, so clearly I've made a ton of videos already in a row, by the way, on my experience with the HX Stomp, but today I want to show you how I've been able to incorporate it into my live rig and my studio setup as well. So I've reworked my entire pedal board. For those of you who have been following my channel for a while, you know that I challenged myself to not change my pedal board for a year straight. Clearly I failed at that, but one thing I've learned about myself is that I'm looking for function, and I'm okay with changing things up if they inspire me. So some of the changes that I made even to my current pedal board, it doesn't mean that I don't love the pedals that I removed from my pedal board. It just means that I'm inspired by different pedals at the current moment. I still love pretty much every pedal that I get my hands on. Anything you see me put on my pedal board is because it has inspired me in one way or another. Today I want to show you how I've been able to incorporate the HX Stomp and why it's inspired me to change my whole entire setup and basically revolve my pedal board around this product. I'm not going to go into great detail on how I achieve the tones that I've come up with using the HX Stomp. I think I've covered that enough in previous videos, so what I'm going to do is in the description box below, I'm going to link a couple of videos that, or actually I'm going to link all of the videos that I have done so far leading up to this video today. The evolution of my tone using the HX Stomp. I'll link that in the description box below and you can check it out and catch up. I'm going to show you my pedal board, how I've set it up, and the tones that I'm getting. Let's get started. Okay, so as you can see, this is my new setup here. I've downgraded, or downsized I should say. Before I was using a 24x12 pedal board. Now I'm currently using a Pedal Train 1, which is 22x12.5. I'm also not using the Live in Flight case anymore, which is, it just makes everything seem so much more tinier. I know on camera it doesn't really come off that way, but at my feet it's so much smaller than what I was using before, which I actually like. I've been meaning to sort of downsize for a while now, and this was the best way to do it. Mounted underneath, I'm using a One Spot Pro CS12. Currently, though, I have it set up to power the HX Stomp. I'm currently not doing that yet because I actually lost my reverse polarity cable, so I'm waiting for that to get here in the mail. Also mounted on the right hand side underneath the pedal board is a patch bay by This One's Mine, which allows me just to go in and out in one source rather than going in and out of pedals. I'm still using the Boss ES5 here that's controlling everything. I go into that out of the tuner dedicated out. I'm feeding the Boss TU2 chromatic tuner. In loop 1 I have the Walrus Audio Deep 6, 2 is the JHS Morning Glory, 3 is the Wampler Tumnus, 4 is the Ibanez Tube Screamer, and I have nothing in loop 5. From the Boss ES5 2, I was also able to feed the HX Stomp via MIDI all of my tap information. Now, for all of you MIDI heads out there or people who need to know how to do that, I have to be honest with you guys, I'm not very great with MIDI, but one thing I can tell you is that I didn't do anything. I literally just plugged it in and it started working. Then I switched the tap tempo as I've shown you in previous videos. It was the mute switch. I now reassigned it to be a tap tempo so I can tap all of my tempos in. I can also obviously pre-assign them if I'm using click tracks and I know what we're going to be doing. That's much easier to do that way, and I can do presets on the ES5 and then it could switch all of the tempos on the HX Stomp. Then coming out of the Boss ES5, we feed the mini volume pedal here by Dunlop that goes into the Digitech Jam Man Solo XT, which I'm using for pads. Then out of that straight into the HX Stomp. Then we have here on the side of the ES5, this is a Analog Endeavors aux switch, and I'm using that to switch between my snapshots. So snap up and snap down as it is labeled. The only thing I'm really changing with my snapshots are the delays and reverb, mix and decays. And then of course in the back there, it's the bright switch that I'm lighting up my pedal board with, and that's about it. So in case you are interested in how I am using the HX Stomp, of course, I have other videos where I show you how I'm doing that, but in this video, I am still Y splitting into 2 different amps. One of those amps is the AC Fawn, the second one is a Tweeds Blues. Then that goes back into one IR, which again, I'll link in the description box below. Then we go into a 10-band EQ, and then into the dual delays, and then into a glitz reverb, and back out into wherever it is that we're going into. For today's purposes, that is my DAW. Here is my clean sound with just compression going into the stomp. I will keep delays and reverbs on so you could basically hear it all in its full glory. Now we're going to start stacking up the drives. This is the JHS Morning Glory. Now we're going to go into the Wampler Tumnus. Now we're going to stack the Morning Glory and the Tumnus. Now this is my solo tone, so we're going to add the Tube Screamer to that. So there you have it. That's mainly all of my sounds. I can pretty much accomplish anything I need to accomplish within the worship sort of setting with just those tones right there. I'm going to let you hear some of the sounds that I've gotten from the HX Stomp by themselves. So for example, I'll go back to clean. I'm going to remove the reverb and just keep the dual delay on, and this is what that sounds like. Now I'm going to show you just the reverb, which is the glitz reverb here, and show you what that sounds like by itself. I'm going to stack them back together just for your reference. Now I'm going to show you how I'm using my snapshots. So for example, we've currently been in snapshot 1. That's more of an always on type of thing. But if I want to go a little more heavy on the ambience, I'm going to go up to snapshot 2. And it just adds a little more mix and decay on both my delays and the reverb. I'm going to go up to snapshot 3. On this snapshot, I normally use for just swells. I really can't get clean notes out of this one, so I'm going to show you what that sounds like using the volume pedal. The thing I really want to point out is how much easier it is to sort of navigate through the HX Stomp when you have an external aux switch. It's very easy to set up. You just have to go into your global settings on the HX Stomp, assign the foot switch 4 and 5, and you can pretty much tell it what to do, and it gives you a bunch of options. For me, I chose snap up and snap down, but you can do lots of stuff with it. You can turn it into your tuner, into your tap tempo, whatever. But this has been very successful for me. Now, this last sort of option here that I have on the Stomp, which is where I have my barefoot buttons, this is a mute switch. It's not muting my entire signal, but it mutes the effects that are coming out of the Stomp. Sometimes I want to do like a hard stop, and then having my delays and reverb decay on doesn't quite work for me. And some of the music that I do, I like to do a hard stop. Even the ambient stuff, I wanted to stop and then come back in, you know, full band. So I'll show you an example of how I use that in a live situation. Thank you so much for watching this video. As always, if you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Let me know what you think of the video. Let me know if I can help you in any kind of way. I don't work for Line 6, but I can help out in any way that I personally can. I'll give you my opinions and, you know, give you full access to how I achieve the tones that I'm getting. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe and like my video. It means a lot to me and it just encourages me to keep going. Thank you so much, and until next time.